Welcome to my videos and my blog. In this time, I'm going to talk about the NFL 2025 season, week 1 prediction. Well, tomorrow will start the NFL finally after wait 7 months. Well, remember the last game was played the last February 14, where the Eagles defeated the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl 59. So now tomorrow it's gonna to start the NFL 2025 regular season, where it's gonna to last until the the first weekend of January, and after that it's gonna to play the playoff, and the Super Bowl 60 is gonna to play in the Inglewood, California, in the SoFi Stadium, and this game is gonna to be played in February. So, for that reason, I'm recording this video, but I'm going to talk about the games that are going to be playing the week 1, and I'm going to give me predictions. So let's start with this first video of the NFL 2025 season. Well, tomorrow finally the wait is over, and tomorrow is going to start the NFL, where tomorrow the reigning champion team, the Philadelphia Eagles, are going to receive one of his biggest are going to receive his bigger rival, the Dallas Cowboys. This game is going to be played tomorrow in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and 2020 Eastern Time. Remember that the last year, the Philadelphia Eagles defeated and humiliated the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22 in the Super Bowl 59 on New Orleans, Los Angeles. New Orleans, Louisiana. So, with this reason, the Eagles won his second Super Bowl in 5 or 7 years, and his second Super Bowl in his history. So the Dallas Cowboys, the last season, finished in the third place in the NFC East, and they didn't qualify with a 17 record. So it looks like that this year the Cowboys have a worse team than the last year. So it is going to be a complicated game. So I think that the Philadelphia Eagles are not going to have any problem. They are going to win this game by more than 17-point difference, and they will win its first game of the season. And the second game is going to be played this Friday, where this game is going to be played this will be an international game, the first game of 7 in the season, where the Los Angeles Chargers will face the Kansas City Chiefs. This game is going to be played in the Neo Química Arena in Sao Paulo, Brazil. This game is going to be played at 20 o'clock Eastern Time. Remember that this is the second time the NFL is going to play a game in Brazil, where the last year the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Green Bay Packers 34-29 in the same stadium the last year, in the beginning of the year. So remember that game won it the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't know if you are superstitious or you want to believe in the coincidences, but it looks like that the team that wins this game is going to win the next Super Bowl. Let's see. So, about this game, the Kansas City Chiefs are the runner-up. They couldn't won a three-peat, his tier championship in 4 years, in 5 years. So, in my opinion, they are the favorite team to win the Super Bowl. So it's going to be great for them. And the Chargers, the last year they qualified to the wild card run, but to the playoff. But unfortunately, they lost against the Texans in the wild card run 32-12. So this is a divisional game, and remember, when two teams play, when there is a divisional game, most of the time the game is closer than in the regular game. So I think that this is going to be a close game, but in the end, I think that the Chiefs are going to win this game by 3 or 7 point difference. And later in the next Sunday, they're going to have 13 games, where there are going to be 8 games in the 13 o'clock Eastern Time. In the first game, in a game though bad teams, the Indianapolis Colts are going to receive the Miami Dolphins, and this game is going to be played in Indianapolis, Indiana. The last year, both teams were one of the deception because both teams were eliminated. The Dolphins finished in the second place in the AFC East with a 8-0 record, and they were eliminated. The same that the Indianapolis Colts, they finished with the same record and in the second place in the AFC South. I think that this season both teams are going to be one of the worst teams, especially the Colts. So I think that this is going to be a close game, but I see a little better the Dolphins than the Colts, and I think that the Dolphins are going to win this game by 7 or 10 point difference. They're going to win its first game of the season. The second game of the day, the New York Jets are going to receive my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game is going to be played in the MetLife Stadium in New York or New Jersey. Sorry. The last year, the Jets were one of the deception. They finished in the third place in the AFC East with a 5-12 record. They were a deception, and for that reason, they hired a new head coach. They hired the former Detroit defensive coordinator, but I think that this is going to be another bad season. But remember that they didn't sing against the Aaron Rodgers because he was transferred to my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they hired the Steelers former quarterback Justin Fields. But I think this is going to be a difficult season for them. My Pittsburgh Steelers, they made a lot of new signings, especially in the free agencies, something unusual, not typical for the Steelers, because they most of the time the Steelers will the team in the draft. But it looks like that the owner and president of the club, the Aaron Tier, wants to compete and qualify and try to compete and win in playoffs. So I see a little better team this year in comparison of the last year. And for first time in a long time, I think that the offense is better than the defense. But let's show that. So about this game, I think that the Steelers are a better team. Let's see how Aaron Rodgers is gonna to play this game. If he still have the quality of the football level to compete and win. So I think it's going to be a close game, but in the end, I think the Steelers are better, and the Steelers are going to win this game by 3 or 7 point difference. In the third game of the day, in a game of bad teams, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to receive the Carolina Panthers, and this game is going to be played on Jacksonville, Florida. The last year, both teams were eliminated. The Jaguars that last year expected great things, they couldn't compete, and they lost in the third place in the AFC South with a 4-13 record, one of the worst record in the league. And about the Panthers also finished with a bad record of 5-12. They finished in the third place in the NFC South. So these two teams are one of the two worst teams in the league. The most probably the both teams are going to repeat as one of the worst teams in the league. So I think that this is going to be a close game, but I think that the Jaguars are going to win this game by 7 or 10 point difference because they will play in home. Another game of bad teams. The New Orleans Saints are going to receive the Arizona Cardinals. This game is going to be played in New Orleans, Louisiana. The last year, both teams were eliminated. The Saints that started very well the season, they started 2-0, 3-0. After that, they lost 7 straight games, and for that reason, they were eliminated. His former starting quarterback, the Derek Carr, decided to retire, and for that reason, they I think, or they drafted a new quarterback in the draft. And about the Cardinals, they finished in the third place in the NFC East West with a 9 record. About this game, both teams are one of the more mediocre teams, because even that they are not the worst, most of the time they don't have the quality to qualify to the playoffs. So I think that the Saints are going to win this game because they will play in home, and they are going to win this game by 3 or 7 point difference. In another game, in a divisional game, the Washington Commanders, the revelation of the last year, will face his divisional rival, New York Giants. This game is going to be played in Washington, D.C. The last year, the Commanders did a surprise because they achieved the NFC Championship for first time in 30 years. But unfortunately, they lost against the Eagles by 30 point difference. They did a tremendous season, but I think that now that they have the pressure and all the people will want to watch them, maybe they are not going to support the pressure, and maybe they are not going to have a tremendous season like they did last year. And about the Giants, they think Russell Wilson, the former Steelers starting quarterback, but I don't see that the New York Giants can compete to qualify to the playoffs, because the last year the Giants were one of the worst teams in the league. They finished with a tier 14 record, and they finished in the bottom of the NFC East. So I know that it's a divisional game, but I see better the Commanders, so I think that the Commanders won't have any problem, and they will win this game by 14-point difference. In another divisional game, the Atlanta Falcons are going to receive the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game is going to be played in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The last year, the Buccaneers won the division with a 10-7 record, but they lost in the divisional run against the Commanders by 3-point difference. By 3-point difference, it was an upset. And about the Falcons, they were eliminated. They finished with an 8-9 record, and they were eliminated. The last season, the Falcons started better, where unfortunately for a back-to-back years, they play a very bad season, bad football in December, and for that reason they were eliminated. Even most part of the season, the Falcons were leading this division, but how I told you in the beginning of the December, they started to play very bad football. The Buccaneers took advantage of that, and they won the division. So I think that between the Falcons and Buccaneers are gonna to fight to win the NFC division. So for the Falcons, it's very important to win this game because they can get the advantage in the last week when the division is going to be defined. But I think that the Buccaneers in this moment are better than the Falcons, so I think that the Buccaneers are going to win this game by 3-point difference, and they will get the first victory. Another divisional game, the Cleveland Browns are going to receive the Cincinnati Bengals. This game is going to be played in Cleveland, Ohio. The last year, both teams were eliminated. The Clevelands that were one of the worst teams in the league, they finished it with a 3-14 record, and they were in the bottom of the AFC North. And about the Bengals finished it with a 9-8 record. They closed the season with a 5-winning streak. But the problem with that is that, and they finished in the third place in the AFC North, but the problem with them is that they started very bad this season and they couldn't recover, and they couldn't qualify to the playoff. About this team, they have a tremendous offenses, especially Joe Burrow is quarterback and Jamal Chase, the second best wide receiver in the league. The problem is that they have a very bad defense, and for that reason they lost the game. So I think that this will be a close game because it's a divisional game, but in the end, I think that the Bengals are going to win this game by 3 or 7-point difference, and they're going to win its first game of the season. And the last game of the 13 o'clock Eastern time, where the New England Patriots are going to receive the Las Vegas Raiders. This game is going to be played in the Foxborough, New England, in the Gillette Stadium. The last year, both teams were one of the worst teams in the league. Both teams finished in the bottom in each of their division, and both teams finished with the same record for 13. The Patriots fired his head coach Jared Mayo, and they broke his former player, the Mike Bravo, the former Titans head coach, and the Raiders fired his head coach Pierce, and they broke the former Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll. So I think that the Raiders and the Patriots are going to improve their record respectively. But I think that both teams are going to be eliminated. I see that the Raiders have more possibilities to qualify to the playoffs than the Patriots. But let's see. So about this game, I think that it's going to be a close game. But in the end, I think that the Raiders are going to win this game by 3 or 7-point difference, and they're going to start the season with a victory. And the games are going to be played on the 4:05 and the 16:05. We'll have two games for 16:25 Eastern time. These 4 games are going to be the next. In a divisional game, the Seattle Seahawks are going to receive the San Francisco 49ers. This game is going to be played in the Lumen Field Stadium in Seattle, Washington. Remember that the last year, both teams were eliminated. Both teams play in the NFC West, where the Seattle Seahawks finished with a great record, 10-7, but because they lost the games against the Rams, and because the NFC North was the best division. For that reason, even that the Seattle Seahawks played a tremendous football, and they finished with a great record, they were eliminated. And about the 49ers, they were the deception of the season, because the last season they were the favorite, and I include that they were gonna to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl 59. They finished in the bottom of the NFC West with a 6-11 record, but I think that now they have improved a lot. I think that now that because they have that healthy team, they're gonna to try to compete to win his division and try to compete to win the NFC title. So about this game, this is going to be a close game. I think that the Seattle are going to stay there where they're going to compete to enter to the playoff. In my prediction, I think that the both teams are going to qualify to the playoff. The 49ers are going to win East Division, and the Seattle Seahawks are going to qualify as a wild card team. So I think that the 49ers are going to win this game by 3 or 7 point difference, and they are going to win his first game of the season. In another game, the Denver Broncos are going to receive the Tennessee Titans and Denver, Colorado. The last year, the Broncos did a surprise. They finished in the third place in the AFC West and they qualified to the playoffs with a 10-7 record. Unfortunately for them, they lost against the Bills 31-7, but they qualified to the wild card and his future looks tremendous. About the Titans, they were the worst team in the league. They finished with the worst record, 3-14, and they were in the bottom of the AFC South. So about this game, I think that in this moment the Broncos are better team than the Titans. So I think that the Broncos won't have any problem and they will win this game by 10 point difference. And the Sunday we're gonna to have and another game. I think that the best game or the best game of the day or the second best game of the day, the Green Bay Packers are going to receive the Detroit Lions. This game is going to be played in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Remember that the last year, both teams qualified to the playoff. The Detroit Lions won the NFC North with a 15-2 record, and they won the number one set in the NFC. Unfortunately for them, is that the Lions were surprised by the Commanders, where they were eliminated in the wild card run, where they lost 45-31. And about the Packers. The Packers finished it with a good record, 11-6, but the problem with the Packers is that all the season they couldn't defeat a top team. So they lost in the wild card run against the reigning champion team, the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think that now that the Micah Parsons was traded to the Packers, I think that they're going to improve a lot. But to be honest, in this moment, I think that the Lions are a better team than the Packers, and I think that in this moment the Lions and the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. But this is going to be a complicated game, and if the Packers want to try to compete to try to win this division and try to compete in the NFC, they have to defeat the top team. So I think that the Lions in this moment are better team than the Packers. What happened the last year against the Commanders in the wild card round, it was only a bad game. So I think that the Lions are going to win this game by 7 or 10 point difference, and they're going to win the first game. And the last game in the second schedule, the Los Angeles Rams are going to receive the Houston Texans on Inglewood, California, in the SoFi Stadium. The last year, the Rams did a surprise. They qualified against all the bets, and they won the NFC West with a 10-7 record. But unfortunately for them, they lost in the divisional run against the Philadelphia Eagles, 28-22. And about the Texans, they won each division in back-to-back years. They won it with a 10-7 record, but they lost in the divisional run against the Kansas City Chiefs, 23-14. About this game, it's going to be a close game. I think that both teams are going to compete to win their division and qualify to the playoff. So I think that the Rams are going to take advantage to playing home, and they're going to win this game by 3 or 7 point difference. And the second best game of the day and the best game of the day in the Sunday Night Football is going to be between the Buffalo Bills against the Baltimore Ravens. This game is going to be played in Buffalo, New York, and 2020's third time. Remember that the last year, the Ravens won the AFC North and the Bills won the AFC East. The Bills defeated the Ravens in the divisional round, 27-25, and the Bills lost in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, 32-29. For the Ravens, it's going to be a revenge of what happened the last year or this year in the beginning of the year in the divisional run, and for the Bills, they're going to try to to improve on what they did the last year and try to win the AFC and represent the AFC in the next Super Bowl 60. So it's going to be a tremendous game. I think that this is the best game alongside the Packers-Lions game. So I think that the Bills are going to win this game because they are going to play at home. They're going to win this game by 3-point difference. They're going to win the first victory. And the last game will be they play this Monday night. In the Monday Night Football, where the Chicago Bears are going to receive the Minnesota Vikings. This game is going to be played in the Soldier Field Stadium in Chicago, Illinois. This game is going to be played in 2015 Eastern Time. The last year, the Bears were one of the worst teams in the league. They finished in the bottom of the NFC North with a 5-12 record, and the Vikings, this is a surprise, they finished in the second place in the NFC North with a 14-3 record. The Vikings, unfortunately, they were upset where they lost against the Rams in the week around 27 night. And about the Bears, they finished it in the bottom in the NFC North. Last year they drafted the Caleb Williams, but this year he's gonna to show why he was selected as a number one pick. About the Bears, they hired the former Lion offensive head coach, and I think that this team is gonna to improve a lot. But to be honest, I don't see that the Bears can compete to win each division and try to compete to enter to the playoffs. So about the Vikings, I don't think that they're gonna to have the tremendous system that they had the last year, but they're gonna to compete. So about this game, I see a little better the Vikings than the Bears. So I think that the Vikings are gonna to win this game by 3 or 7 point difference. And they're gonna to win its first game of the season. So I hope you like this video. I hope you have understood or my prediction. Let's see how many games I am right in the end of the season. So in the end of the week. So see you next video. Gibran.